Hello, everybody. You're watching another edition of Dale's Rails. What I have for you today here is a video on some items I thought I'd share with you. I'd recently picked up a few new items for my layout, and I just thought I would share them with you. I'd spent a few days out of town with my family and had a good time doing that. I'd made I ordered this engine through Trains. It's kind of my go-to store anymore, it seems like, on stuff like that. And I believe I ordered this on Tuesday. They didn't ship this till Wednesday. Didn't even give me a ship date. And I think this was just economy shipping too, by the way. And had no ship date in mind. So I left and came back home today because I got notified that they were going to deliver this today. So, and sure enough, when I get back home, lo and behold, there on my front porch is this item. It kind of blows me away because I did not believe they would get this shipped and before the weekend. So with Thanksgiving being in there and everything, that economy shipping, I believe, is a 2 to 7 day, and it seemed like those are more like 5 to 7. So I was really kind of surprised with the holiday in there that they got this to me so quickly. So, I have to commend them for a great job of doing that. I don't really get any compensation from anybody, just so everybody knows, for anything that I recommend. I mean, if I recommend something, it's because I either like the products myself, it's more of a personal thing, or it's I think they're somebody that deserves mentioning if they are, they're a good company. So I always think it's good to point those people out, and if I've had good experiences, I can only assume you will too. But that being said, got a new item here from Trains, and then I've got a few items. I've been shopping at my local stores here, Menards and Hobby Lobby, and this is time of year to kind of pick up some train items that they have out, and or at least some things that you can use for your layout. Just some ideas that I'd want to share with you, and we'll see them. One of the items I got from Menards is it's not really an impulse buy. It's something that I've actually turned down before, and it was probably sold. I think it was available on Trains. I didn't think they even made these anymore, so it's kind of surprising. Usually, once they quit making a structure, or they have a limited run of a structure anyway, and once they quit making them, they don't make them again. So I was kind of surprised to see them bring this back. So I'll share that with you as well, and then. But it was more of an item. I'm not sure what the category I should put that in, but it's probably more of a what were you thinking category. I had several opportunities to buy it here recently and decided against it just because I knew I really didn't have room on my layout. So I guess I'm going to have to do some rezoning and find a place to put this on my layout, because it was just something that you guys are into the model railroad probably know. Something speaks to you. You just can't help but not think about it any longer. And when it comes around again, it's like, well, you better jump on that. So we'll be looking at that here shortly. And for now, I want to get into this unboxing on this engine, and we'll take a run of it too. Here's a receipt. Trains always packs in there, which is great. And just to make sure, yeah, it's the right model, it sounds like. We'll have to see on this model. It's everything in my collection I'm going to say is used. I do have some new in the box items. It always kind of surprises me that you can still get stuff from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s that's never been ran before. That always kind of make me take a pause a little bit, just because you kind of wonder who thought enough of that never to run it, and should I run it, So yeah, I'm going to run it. At least I'm going to restore it. So this model here, it's going to probably be one of these models that's going to need some servicing. This is an older Williams model. I'm not sure what year this one was produced. I usually, when I get a model like this, especially with the description they have, before I even try to run them on the layout, I always tear my engines down and service them right away. But we may try this one out just to see. They said it was functional, so we'll just see how functional it is. I'm hoping it's functional. Wow. They always do such an excellent job of wrapping. I don't know that I've ever had anything damaged in shipping that I can tell was damaged in shipping anyway. So what we have here is a Southern Fairbanks Morris Trainmaster. And it looks in pretty good shape. Yeah, they were talking about the bent handrails. They're wire, so that's no big deal. They are bent. You can tell where people have been grabbing to pick it up. You kind of pick these up like that. Some of these models, if you don't want to spend time fixing this stuff all the time, you have to kind of be careful where you grab it to pick it up, because these are a very heavy model. So, well, there it is. It looks really nice. I hope it runs as nice as it looks. I'm sure it needs servicing. Yeah, you can tell. Nice thing about Williams. Now, see how easy that one turns. Nice thing about Williams, you can pull the can motor off just by taking one screw out. I believe K-lines, you have to pull a screw and the pickup, so they're a little bit more of a challenge to work on. It looks like this one has I wasn't expecting that. It looks like it's got a mechanical E unit. That surprised me. I'll have to take a look at this. Make sure I'm not seeing anything who it's built by. I was not aware that Williams made a mechanical E unit unless somebody modified it. Hold on real quick. I'm going to grab a screwdriver. I'm just going to head and open this up. They're pretty easy. These Trainmasters are really easy to get into. I mean, it's just a screw on each end here, and then the shell comes right off. These are really easy to work on. There's that screwed out. Sorry, not a magnetic screwdriver here. We'll just take that off. You know what? That is not a Williams. Let me see here. It says Williams 8301 Southern FM Trainmaster. That is not a Williams. That is a Lionel. Yeah, it says right on the motors Lionel. So This Williams Trainmaster is actually a Lionel Trainmaster. I don't know if this model here, I know they made a Southern in, I think, 1988, Lionel did, but they had an electronic horn in them, which I was hoping that's what this might be, but you know, if it had a horn in it, it's not in here now. It don't look like it ever had a horn in it, so I'm not sure from what year this is from then now, because this is definitely not a Williams model. So I'm going to say this is probably going to run, just because it's a Lionel with Pullmore motors and a mechanical E unit. So I'm going to try to find here real quick, get some power on the layout here, and look at there. Yeah, so sorry, got two engines on the same line. Okay. Okay, just trying to decide which way I want to put the shell back on. So yeah, I don't know if you guys can see in there, read that in there, but that's probably hard to read. If you can read it, it says Lionel. So, you know, I'm fine with it. I guess I would prefer it to be a Williams, just because they have the can motors, and they'd be real equivalent to this on, you know, like I've showed in previous videos. A Williams would have a circuit board in here instead of a mechanical E unit, and it would have can motors in it. So I'm fine with it being a Lionel. I don't, money wise, I mean, I got this really cheap. I was hoping it was more of a Williams model, just because most of my Trainmasters are Williams, and I can interchange those parts. You know, I think for now, since I got this shell off, I'm just going to leave it apart, because I'll tear this down, pull these trucks, pull the brush plates, and I'm going to clean all this out. I'll clean the E unit. I mean, it looks to me like it's going to run just fine. We'll get this engine off of here. Run him back. You know, this is, I haven't even cleaned anything, wheels, pickups, or anything, so that's pretty impressive. You know, once that's all clean, that's going to really run good. Oh man, if you guys were only here to smell the ozone. You know, I've been doing my part to restore the ozone since 1964, so there's that. Well, I think what I'll do is we'll get back to this project here, and you know, I'll do a servicing video on it for you guys, just in case you're interested in that. It's no big deal, but wow, yeah, you can. It smells like electric train in here right now. So that's really got some ozone going on. So for now, got a few other items here I'd like to show you. Okay, we're here on the workbench. This is my recent stash. I've got a couple of, they had a couple of nice Santa Fe, the War Bonnet paint scheme and the Blue Bonnet paint scheme, Santa Fe box cars. These Menards box cars have different trucks on them than most of their other cars, which these are more Lionel-like. It's too bad they don't use, I haven't really tried these out, but just looking at them, they just look like they're going to be much better. If you guys can see here, they use these more Lionel style where you got, to me, that's just a lot. Yeah, you can tell how much easier it close. The problem with Menards sometimes, I notice on their tank cars, their hopper cars, flat cars, pretty much every car but their box cars. The box cars, they use these metal Lionel style couplers, and whether those like they use on their passenger cars, that type of action, and much nicer coupler. I don't know why they don't use these on all of them. And then that those trucks look pretty nice too. They look like they're sprung, but they're not. But they look pretty believable. They look authentic. I like the looks of those trucks. So that's a good looking box car. And we already know what that one's going to look like, so we don't need to look at that one. We'll get into this this structure here. This is their lumber yard. Yeah, this is something that I had seen in the past, and I just was really enamored with it. So I've already took the liberty to pull the staples and everything out. So just sitting there, it's a pretty decent looking building. I'm not thrilled with the roofing. Knowing me, I'll probably redo that. I like how, since I got this off, this isn't quite, well, it is. It's kind of blue looking. I wish it was a little bit more white or gray or something. I suppose they're trying to replicate wood siding. I don't think they're trying to replicate metal siding, but it just would have probably been a little bit more believable if it was more like wood color rather than maybe metal color. So here's this structure here. If you guys have ever seen their lumber yard, it's got a full, this thing's lit really well too. It's lit probably too good. And there's the end. That end like this. These doors open up. This might be something. I don't know if you could modify that. Maybe I could modify it or something where I could actually straddle my track, because this structure is a big structure. You can see how big it is in compared to a box car here. So it's a pretty good sized structure to be on your layout. So it's it's as long as that box car and wide. So it's pretty neat building. It's got some nice detail to it. I like that faded paint look on the sign there. Looks like an old weathered sign. That's kind of a neat effect. Cripple Creek, yeah, they do a lot of Cripple Creek stuff. I'm not crazy about that sign, but that can be changed out pretty easy. So that's a neat thing about it. You can kind of put your own signage on here too if you want. It's kind of a neat that it's actually a little wood sign. So it's kind of neat. And you've got those dormer windows up there. Those are neat. So, it's just kind of a neat structure. I just got to find some place to put this on my layout. Another item I ran into there at Menards, this is just because of their Christmas stuff out. They have these LED Christmas lights. Now, I pulled off these wreaths. They're not very realistic looking because they're black instead of green. If you want a wreath on there, you can go to Hobby Lobby. They actually have little wreaths that look like wreaths that are kind of made out of that pipe straw looking or pipe cleaner looking stuff. And another thing I ran into Hobby Lobby. They had their puzzles on sale. They were 40% off. And what's neat about these puzzles, some of them have a poster in here. Now, I took a chance on this on the first one just to see what the poster would be like. Well, I was hoping that poster would be more the size of this. It's a big poster, so scale-wise, it's too big, but I thought that would be something neat. You could actually, glue use something almost like here's a poster here. And then the other unfortunate thing, it's going to be all folded up. But these are something, I thought you could use for a layout. It's just that poster's way too big. I've seen some that are more the size of what that box top would be. It'll be fun to put the puzzle together too. But sometimes in some of these puzzles, you can get posters in there. You could actually probably use like wallpaper paste on the back of this and actually paste this to your backdrop and have some scenery that way to do some quick scenery. Another thing you can do on these, if you don't, what's neat about these, you could take like a razor knife and just cut these edges along these edges, outline here, and just cut the edge along here, if you don't want all this in there. And same thing, just cut all this out, and you can just save the building portion without any of this backdrop if you've already got a scenic backdrop back there. And then this will just blend right in with your scenery then if you cut away this portion of it. But just an idea for you guys. I mean, something to look for when you're out and about. Don't rule out other ideas. I'm trying to find a good way to do some interiors of building that's the same along these same lines. So the other thing I ran into, I haven't done any model cars in years, but they just had too good of a deal on these. These were 40% off too, so that's a $13 model kit. So so I got a couple of these. These are some of my, I'm kind of a car guy too. It's not train related, but it is as if they were at a different scale. But these are cars I had when I was a kid growing up. So I wanted to do some models of those. They're kind of neat to have on a rainy or snowy day in the winters. It's just neat to have something like that, to have something to do. Is that's kind of a break from working on your layout. Sometimes you kind of, it helps to take a break from your layout from other stuff. Sometimes if you just kind of get too overwhelmed with things sometimes, or it just gets too mundane. After all, it's supposed to be fun. Or if you kind of get a block, sometimes you get a block, and something like working on something else like that will take your mind off. That's what's good. Sometimes may have a block on an idea, and then I'll just put together a plastic model building sometimes, just to shift gears, so to speak. But these are a few things that I wanted to share with you guys, some ideas. Hopefully you can find some kind of use with that. I'll show you what these lights look like lit up over here. So there's the lights. What I got there on the bridge is the older style that I had bought quite a few years ago, before I even had any buildings on the layout. And it was just something I ran across that I thought I could use somewhere at some point in time. I'm to the point now where I'm starting to get enough buildings on here, getting close to being complete with that, which is kind of holding things up to get all this other work done. I'm trying to get these buildings and stuff like this situated, especially like what I ran into here with the Menards building. You can see here it's a good thing I work in construction, because I know who to call. I got a construction crew working down here. and one down there. On this section of track, I took that spur out I had in there, and I'm liking it a lot better. So, so I got that going on too. That was to make way for this Menards building, and as you can see there, I actually got some room on the other side there. I could still shift things around a little bit and maybe get another structure in there on the corner. And unfortunately, this is about the only place either here on the right or on the left to put this Menards building. I could put them in the corners over there, but then I'd have to find some place to put one of those gas stations, and they're not the easiest thing to place either. So, I'm just going to have to live without that spur, and it's not going to hurt me. I mean, the way I designed this anyway, I mean, if you notice, this here's a huge, the inner city is a huge oval with a folded dog bone with another oval. So I got two ovals and a folded dog bone here I can run trains on. And, this section here that I'm working on right here, and then this section underneath here, right there where it connects to those. Those are isolated blocks. So those sections are controlled by a toggle switch here in my console that I made, and I could shut those two sidings down. So it's going to give me, still some way to kill engines if I need to. I could have 3 different engines on here and pull them in and on and off, and switch engines out, just because I have these two sidings here, so to speak, isolated as blocks. And this was designed. This center section here was designed that you could run this whole layout, with 2 people, so really this would be this section of the layout here with the yard and everything. I can pull cars from here. They're all interconnected through turnouts here, and I could run engines back and forth, switchers and that type of thing. 2-person, pull cars in and on off the main line here, and then bring them back here to the inner city loop. Or these can be run as individual loops, or you can have I could sit right here by myself, because this inner city loop everything's controlled right here by that little 1033. Eventually I may change that out to a CW80, just because I'd like a little more power. Most of my lighting is controlled off my main transformers over here on the main line. So this is the only transformer here that's isolated out. It is tied into my grounded bus system, though. It is part of the grounded bus system. So all my transformers are phased together. But getting back to the lighting there, that lighting, I went with these newer style. These are something that Menards has. You can get those, on the back side of the train aisle is where they keep all their porcelain Christmas buildings and stuff. Well, that's where these lights are at. And they had 2 styles. They had this one here, and then they had another one that was a coach style, but it was a post mount. It didn't have that gooseneck with that pendant. The reason I went with that pendant style, it's orientating that LED down, kind of blocks that LED hot spot in there, so it's not quite a glare. And I thought that would do a better job of knocking the glare down, which it did. So you can see these other lights here. It's a little bit hard to tell on this camera. It looks much different in person. We'll see here a little bit with the lights out, but the couple of issues with this lighting, of course, you're kind of limited to how far apart you can put them. I don't know. I suppose you could try cutting that and length and then, modifying that, but you'd kind of have to be, you'd have to mark everything because that is DC and it's polarity sensitive. So you'd have to, be careful of that. And I don't know if they can be modified. They may be, I'm not sure how the resistors are done on that. I do know these take these you can power these off of batteries. They got this little box here, or you can buy their power supply where I've got that plugged in there. You can see, I think those are a 4.5 volt power supply. So I just bought their power supply to power them, so I didn't have to deal with the batteries. But I suppose that would be handy if you had a spot on your layout that would be kind of hard to get to. I could see that would be kind of a neat feature. And then, they do have you can see on there, it's kind of hard to see from here probably, but you can see it's got a little toggle switch on there where you can turn those on and off manually too, without unplugging them each time. So that's kind of a neat feature, whether you use, that'd be helpful if you're using batteries, I guess. That's the other problem with these is you can see that's very limited on how far that power supply, that lead is to do something with that power, that big bulky power supply. For me, it's not going to be a problem. My buildings have the bottoms cut out in there, so you can, or they're hollow inside, so you can stick those up inside the building. That Menards building, it's hollow on that end that I got closest to those lights. I've already got that power supply under there just to try it out, and so it's not going to be really a problem for my use because I can hide those power supplies pretty easy, and so that's something to think about. But we'll turn this lighting off here so we can kind of get an idea on what I'm talking about the glare factor. So it's a little more noticeable. If you notice between the two lights, how the coach style, don't transmit that glare like these exposed bulb fixtures do. So, I'm just going to have to find a way to get around that. You can see how insanely bright this Menards building is, kind of drowning out the woodland thing. So I'm going to do the same thing on that Menards building. I'm going to get some paint and paint over that. I'm going to try it out. I hear if you put just a light coat of the Tamiya X26, I believe it is, it's the clear orange. If you put a little bit of that over those, they claim that it will warm that lighting up where it looks really equivalent to, your Woodland Scenics building. So, and knock that down. So I'm going to be trying that at least on the buildings. I'm not sure how well that would work on those exposed lights over there on the post lights. But, I kind of like how that looks on the bridge, so it worked out with just the length of the wire. So happens, I was able to cover that bridge with the length of the wire that it came with. So, it's something that, I'll probably end up doing just because I kind of like the looks of it. So, I know the argument could be, well, gee, those aren't to scale, but, ask me if I care. Those lights are $5.99. So you're going to be hard pressed to find 4 LED fixtures for $5.99. So I got 2 packages there for $12. So, and if they're, if you wear them out, big deal, you go buy some more. So, we'll see. I don't know how long these are going to last, but they're LED. Hopefully they'll last a while. I would think they'd probably last about as long as any other LED. So, it kind of worked out good having this, taking this spur out. I kind of like the looks of that better now that I got it done. And, it just gives me a lot more room. It opens that up a little more in there. And, like I say, I'll be able to still do my operations the way I originally set out to do. It doesn't really change things that much. The plan here when I did this is, I'm using these control track sections over here and then over here, so I can operate some of my post-war automatic cars. And that was important to me that I had a way to do that. And, maybe we can get in a little bit closer here and get a little closer look. Take a look in there. See what you guys think. It's not going to really matter to me what you think. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. But I still like your opinions. So feel free to comment. That's all I have for this session. I did do a repair video on the Southern Trainmaster, but it was such a long video. There's several things I ran into. It was just too long to try to include all together. In fact, when I got it serviced and put back on the rail, I ran into some more problems, and they were very unusual. So I took the liberty to make another video with that. And along with that, I'll probably produce a run video of it, if you're interested. When I'm doing these videos, part of my intent is to encourage some of these younger guys, novice or somebody that's probably interested in maybe breaking into the hobby. That's kind of what most of these videos are about. Really, it's for anybody that can find any use in any of it, to be honest with you. But, feel free to, use any of this for your own use if you find it useful. That's really what it's about to me, is really kind of paying it forward, I guess. I've learned a lot from other content creators, and I'm just wanting to do my part to kind of help with the hobby. So that's all I have for today for this episode. Stay tuned for the next sessions, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.